I know. As I'm like cleaning my throat, like
It's gonna be that kind of a day already. Like we're like,
yes. I'll get all the flaming out. So raindrops, yes, you're in the middle of what Alexis and I go through on a weekly basis, which is like we just have fun before we get started. So hey, Alexis.
hi, everybody. I'm just rolling as I'm
I
watching my. I'm like, I'm gonna roll up my sleeves here. They look better. See, they look cuter like that. See, doing a little fashion while I'm.
You look
while
good.
I'm
You look
taping.
good.
I look tired. We got home late, and yeah, it was a long day yesterday.
So talk to
I
me.
was
So
at.
yes, so tell
You
me
know
all
where I was
about
last night.
yes, you were at Tamara and Katie's reunion part 1 watch party. So tell the raindrops all about it. First of all, you look amazing at the party, girl.
Well, it's leftover hair, kind of. All I did was throw it up a little higher because I'm like, dude, I barely slapped some makeup on, but thank you for that. I look very tired. But anyway, it's okay. It was so much fun. I cannot believe, Carlos, the support that Katie and Tamara had. The line was literally out the door for them to take pictures. They had this whole thing set up where they could take pictures out the door for the entire first 2 hours. And then every time they get done taking a picture with them, they'd walk over to John and I and want a picture with us. So it was almost like a 2-step process. It was like Katie and Tamara taking pictures, over to Alexis. Now we want one. It was a lot of support shown, and people that just, really, they do love Katie and wanted to, extend that, obviously. And they love Tamara too, even though she's always the villain. But it was great. It was all positive. There were a ton of vendors. The drinks were great. We did shush the room to like actually listen to the reunion, even though I couldn't hear it because people are still coming up to take pictures, but I had to watch it when I got home. But oh my gosh, Carlos, the craziest thing, I swear this on my life. I will never swear on my husband's life, but I will swear it on my life. This was the craziest part of the whole night. And John can attest to it because he was beside me the whole time. And Spencer was there, so he can attest to it. So could probably Tamara. Well, she was there part of the time. You have no idea how many people came up to me from that event. Probably 1,000 people at least, easy, walking in and out and all the things. 1,000 or more. I might be lowballing that, but saying, Alexis, we love you on Carlos. We love you on Carlos. You Carlos, get your own thing and get off on your own. And they're like, I mean, I was like, how do they even, like, all the people there were listening? I was so blown away. I'm like, this is crazy. And I just felt so like happy because, I was tainted after season 18, but I feel like I wasn't given the respect to be shown the true story. So now people are hearing me with you and going, okay, that's who Alexis really is. But it's awesome because also your podcast is huge, honey. If 17-ish type of groups of people from the thousands came up and said the Carlos show, I'm like, wow. So yeah,
I'm actually tearing up. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
I have a bigger head today, Carlos, because we have that much love for our Friday podcast.
Oh, listen.
I'm feeling today.
No, listen, I'm actually like really emotional right now hearing that because I'm not gonna cry because I don't like crying on camera. But what I will say is this: thank you for sharing that. Thank you for sharing that. Okay.
Just say hemorrhoid when you want to cry. Just say
okay. Hemorrhoid. Okay. Give me all the creams that I need. That's very, very kind of everybody who walked up to you saying that. It's very kind of the people who take time out to listen to Reality with the King, listen to our episodes every week. It means the world to me, honestly, that you are getting the love. And I do mean that. It's the reason why, look, when I did the first episode with you and I had all this backlash, we don't want to hear from Alexis. Yeah. And I'm like, whatever, y'all, you'll get over it. And then all of a sudden it became like, this is the duo that I never knew I needed. And then no matter how much hatred that anyone receives on social media, I always tell my stars, my friends in the reality business, even you, it's not real. It doesn't represent the real world. And our episode is constantly trending on TikTok. The comments have been overwhelmingly positive. So the fact that I'm able to provide a platform for you to really be seen after having such a very, very difficult, challenging season last season, it means the world to me that you're getting that. So thank you for sharing that, Alexis.
Yep.
And listen, me, you, and Spencer will talk because just because OC is ending doesn't mean we have to end.
Are you asking me on a date?
Oh!
What is you getting ready to ask me? I'm excited about this.
Well, you're a married woman, so I'm not gonna. I don't want John to kill me, but listen, we'll have a date. We'll have a date with me,
date.
you, and Spencer and Lizzie. All four of us. We'll have a good foursome and just like have a conversation about what's next for Alexis Bellino. No, I'm sorry, Alexis Jansen.
There's always a future. That's all I'll say. Yes, Alexis Jansen, and I do not do foursomes or swinger shit. So we'll. But I would go on a lunch date with you, and all plutonic, and whatever.
Yes,
we'll figure it out.
No, I'll come to the West Coast and we'll have a meeting. But thank you. So let's get into part 1 of the Real Housewives of Orange County. So Raindrops, do me a favor. If you're watching this on my YouTube channel, okay, or if you're listening to this in audio, take a drink every time you heard Alexis' name being mentioned on this reunion. I know.
I felt like I was like sitting there. It was like
Alexis
on Andy's shoulder. No, I'm like,
no bullshit. First of all, I just want to dive right into your name. I did a count. Your name was mentioned 6 times.
You counted?
Yes. Because, look, sister, what is so fascinating about all of this is the fact that, and this may sound strange to the audience, but it's true, your name was mentioned more in part 1 of this reunion that you weren't on all season than last year's part 1 reunion where you were featured. But I want to ask you this. It felt strange to me, but I need to ask you, how does it feel to know your name was mentioned 6 times and you weren't even a part of the season?
It's kind of how I felt the whole season, though, Carlos. Is like, I felt like even if I wasn't recapping with you, by the phone calls I would get after every episode, they would say, Alexis, you need to watch this episode because you were brought up again. Oh, you were brought up 3 times this one. So I felt like I would have had to watch it even if I didn't have this recap, thing that you and I are doing, because it was like I am still such a part of the show, but part of it's kind of like annoying because a lot of things said, I'm not there to rebuttal and be like, no, that's not true. Because if anyone's going to be the truth teller, it's going to be me. And guess what? I do not mind being called the receipt crazy woman. I will bring receipts for whatever I say. So I really have a hard time with the fact that like my name's brought up and then things are distorted or not true. Like there was a couple on this reunion that I'm like, no, one with Jen, one with Katie. And I don't want to go backwards with them because we're all moving forward, as we can see, but I'm still going to claim the truth because I didn't have the 2 million, 3 million viewership that the reunion got last night. But guess what? I still do have a voice, and I am going to tell the truth about it. So it's mixed emotions. It's kind of funny, then it's kind of angry. It angries me a little bit at some point. So, but then it's like, it's also kind of like, well, y'all still kind of like me or have something to say about me. So
no, listen. As a producer, I need you to know this. I'm not some I'm not Miss Cleo, right? I'm not some truth teller. I'm not a psychic, a part of the Dionne Warwick network. But what I will say is this. When Andy Cohen said, Alexis texted me.
Oh my God.
The reunion seating chart.
I was so embarrassed. You know what happened? I was shitting bricks. I'm not kidding you. I was texting one of my friends that wasn't watching it or didn't know the latest, was just like, and her name begins with an A also, is like, hey, did you see the seating chart yet? I'm like, yeah, and I screenshot it and sent it to her. The next thing that I know, my phone pings. I think it's going to be her, and it pings, and it's Andy, and he's like, question mark? And I'm like, oh my God, I sent it to Andy Cohen. He knows the seating chart. He's freaking there filming right now, the reunion. And so then I just said, oh my gosh, Andy, I am super embarrassed. I am so sorry. I know you're in the thick of the reunion right now. That was to someone else. And then he texts me right back, and he's laughing, and he's like, so what do you think of the seating chart? And I gave him like a winky eye and said, I think you guys know what you're doing. Like that. I literally did like almost crap my pants. I'm not kidding. I was so humiliated. And then I thought I have to just laugh it off, but
No, but I thought, listen, anybody who knows you in real life knows that is so Alexis Jansen. Like, that's just, you know what I mean? It's what makes you, what makes you you. It's the quirkiness of your personality. And I wanted to say this. Alexis, it's the fact that they kept it in the episode.
right. I
That
know.
means something.
It was kind of funny.
That means something.
You're freezing up right now, so I just want to say that to Lizzie. But yeah, you keep freezing up. It's not. I'm not freezing. I just keep seeing you freeze. So I hear like at the end of what you're saying, but yeah, I don't think it's my computer. My Wi-Fi is on full.
Is your Wi-Fi good?
My Wi-Fi is on full.
Okay.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, I think it's hysterical that they left it in too, because I think they want to show once again there's the ditzy side of Alexis just popping in the episode.
No, it was so good. It was so good. It was so good. But I love the fact that they kept it in, because it made me feel like, listen, they do love you. And I know sometimes it feels the opposite, but I just wanted you to know, as a producer, to keep that in, I thought spoke volume. So that's what I have to say about that. But
yeah, let me tell you one other behind the scenes real quick that you don't know, because they didn't keep it in, but I thought they might, and I was apologizing to Tamara for it. But so I know that she's, I woke up at 7, was going to text her then that morning just to like say hi and a prayer and wish her good luck. And then I fell back asleep after I sent my kids to school, and I woke up at like 8:40 or something. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going on set at 9. So I quickly text her, and I'm like, I sent her this prayer. And so she starts reading it, I guess. And the cameras are in there, and I have no clue. Like, I'm like, she's probably walking out on set right now and is going to read it. Like, she's going to be on the set or what, I don't know, but I just sent it. And she texts me back, and she goes, oh my gosh, I started crying. They're in here filming me right now, and they asked me to read it. And I go, I am so sorry. Because the last thing you want after you've spent 2 hours in makeup is to be like crying right before you're, and then I was like, I probably just messed up her whole mojo. And she just said, no, it's totally good. I loved it. I needed that. Thank you. And and I was thinking, oh my gosh, they're going to air that. And it's like, I didn't even perfect the prayer to be like, sound good for TV, but I was just like telling her how, like, go get him now. And I'm praying for your tongue to be guarded, and I'm praying for you to say what you need to say in a kind way. And then, yeah, so that's another behind the scenes moment. So it's just, it's really weird to have friendship. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome.
We got to get into your wedding day being mentioned at the top of the reunion. Andy did ask about your wedding to Tamara, when Tamara said it's one of the best weddings she's been to. Tamara's like, look, I feel uncomfortable talking about the wedding in front of Shannon. And Shannon was like, no, it's all good. I thought it was a beautiful wedding. And then they asked her if John was wearing the Ferragamo shoes that she mentioned she got on sale. So how did it feel to hear Shannon compliment your wedding? And did you feel like she, was being genuine?
I don't really know. And I mean, I'm glad that it feels like she can finally move on. And hopefully now at next season, if she's back on the show, she'll leave my husband's name out of her mouth, because it makes her look kind of like an idiot to bring him up this many years later and after he's like fully married. So hopefully that has been a lesson for her watching it play back this season. But I did feel like I did feel like she meant it, because there's no one that can say my wedding was beautiful and think they're lying, because it was beautiful. It was one of the most beautiful things that actually came together. You know, when you're creating the vision, Carlos, of a wedding, you don't know till the day of. You think you have this vision, but it might not look like all the suits that we had made and dresses that we had and all the stuff we were trying to put together. I wouldn't know until we got everybody together for that picture. And it was like, it was beautiful and how emotional it was. So I appreciated Tamara being sensitive to the fact that Shannon was sitting there, but Tamara's asked a question in front of everybody and has to answer honestly. And I know that Tamara held back saying a lot of what she really wanted to say about the wedding, just in respect for Shannon's, difficulty moving forward with it all during this season. But yeah, so I do believe Shannon that she thought it was gorgeous, because it was.
No, listen, it was a very, very, very beautiful wedding. We saw the photos. One thing that was also mentioned was the fact that Jen said that she was disinvited. And I want you to clear it up, because you mentioned it on our podcast episode a few weeks ago in regards to what really happened. So when you did hear that, Jen was like, look, we've spoken since then. Jen said she did text you on your wedding day, and how you then mentioned that, look, maybe you could come and, be here or whatever. What do you have to say about that in terms of Jen saying that she was disinvited?
And that's the part that's frustrating when I'm on a show being mentioned and talked about, when I'm not there to say my side of it and actually say the truth. Because the one thing everyone knows is if I'm gonna talk about something, I will bring receipts. So if I need to bring receipts on my phone from all the texts to prove anything on this conversation, I will do that. I don't care if I'm called, a receipt freak or whatever they want to say. Yeah, if you're going to talk, have the truth behind you. So anyway, the part that bothered me, what Jen said at the reunion, was I had heard that her and Shannon were talking or something like that. Now I can't remember her words verbatim, and that's why I disinvited her. But Carlos, I have the text chain that I can post if everybody would like me to, which I don't really want to go that deep, so just trust me. But basically what happened is Jen and I were talking every day, okay? I didn't know it was all happening behind the scenes. That's her, her truth, because that's what was happening. That's why she distanced herself from me, is because she was getting close to Shannon. However, we're grown adults, so I would have thought she wouldn't have to distance herself from me. We could be friends with both, like you can do both. Anyway, I'm texting her. She doesn't answer one day. I text her again. She doesn't answer that day. I call her. She didn't answer the phone. It was all kind of weird, because it was like 3 or 4 in about a week or 2 time period. But I also get that we're busy moms. I mean, she's got a freaking football team for her as her children and dogs. Okay. So I totally didn't think anything about it. Was not even worried about anything like what she said about a friendship. I didn't think she had that in her to break up my friendship with her over Shannon, because I thought she was more, and I think she is. I think she now regrets it, but I thought she was more mature than that, honestly. So then I go in for my, my surgery for my breast when I had the medical emergency kind of thing. I had to have a boob job because it encapsulated. So, and ruptured. So anyways, I text her and I'm like, okay, it's really weird. I'm going in for surgery. I really wanted to catch up with you before, I go in but I'll be recovering. Let's talk right after. Crickets. She did not call to check on me. When we would have cramps, we would call each other and be in the carpool line, like, oh my gosh, I have the worst cramps right now, this and that, and complain and check in on each other. How's your headache now, kind of thing. Did not reach out at all after my surgery. That's when I said, I'm done. I'm 5 months away from my wedding. This friend that's on a very select guest list that I have to keep it at a certain quota because of the room size where we chose to get married. It was a 150 massive main capacity. And for me, I wanted it to be at about 120 because I didn't want people like sardines in there. We still ended up at 150, but here you go. I'm like, she doesn't deserve a seat at the wedding if she's not even going to check in on me, right? Like, there's a lot of people we're not inviting. So, okay, you don't obviously love it as much. So I'm going to take you off and I'm going to bring someone else in that does check on me and I do talk to regularly before I'm getting married in 5 months. But then when she texted me on the wedding day, well, first of all, some things that happened because I'd watched, we got married and then I watched some of the episodes and I saw her tell Shannon, no, I'm probably not going to go to Alexis's wedding. That's when it hit me that that is what she was doing. That's why she kind of ghosted me, quote unquote, for that 3-week period of time. And that's why she got disinvited. So she admitted it right there because she told Shannon on scene that she wasn't going to go for Shannon. Okay. Rude and immature, by the way. And then, you know, she gaslit me during that time, though. I have to be honest about this because this is the reality behind it. She gaslit me and said, "Why are you uninviting me? This doesn't make sense." And I said, "How can it not make sense when you did not check in on me after a surgery? And you didn't talk to me for the 2 weeks before that. It was a 3-week time period. How does that not make sense to someone that you get disinvited if you're not checking in on your friend who goes in for emergency surgery?" So anyway, fast forward to now. So then last night when she said that was the reason why she was uninvited. Not true. But then when she texted me on my wedding day, I do have a big heart. I do understand we all F up. We're all humans. None of us are perfect except, you know, God. And I just thought, okay, I'm going to, you know, this is so crazy. I do love you. And I do love her. I do care about her. I love her and Ryan together. I've said this over and over on your podcast. And I can also forgive. So then I was sitting there in hair and makeup, literally. And I'm like, I know it's never going to be, she's not going to be able to make it. How are you going to get a wedding outfit for this kind of a wedding that fast, you know? And then she ended up being in San Diego anyway. But I'm like, you know, I wish there was a world where we could have, you should have been here. You should be on this list. You should be here. So, you know, we need to talk it all out and figure it out. And then she's just like, "Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. And I'm in San Diego and otherwise, yes." But it's like, so we worked past that, but I don't like when things are still not portrayed totally honestly. Like it wasn't because I thought anything about Shannon at all. I didn't even think she was in the equation. I just thought Jen was not being a very good friend by not checking in on me. There you go. That was long.
It's okay. No, I want you to get everything out. What is your relationship like with Jen today?
We have texted quite a few times. We have tried to call each other. When I was in Missouri, we were trying to call each other and then a couple times even now. Like I love Jen. I care about Jen. I don't want us to not be friends. I understand she felt like now after watching this whole season unfold, Carlos, I now know a 63-year-old adult woman was trying to ask Jen, my friend, not to choose a lane, which is very unacceptable and high school to me. So I now see it all clear picture. I think Jen regretted it after watching it unfold too. I think she felt bad enough to text me and missed me and wanted to wish me a good luck on my wedding day. So I know that there's room for improvement and forgiveness and talking things through, and also just growth of ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, I think Jen probably, and I'm speaking for her right now because we haven't talked about this, but I think she probably feels bad and misses me. And I mean, we had a great friendship. I freaking love her. Like, so yeah, that's where I think it stands. And so we haven't had time to connect and actually have the talk that we need to, but I do know that both of our doors are open, and we've said that on the text exchange. Like, let's get this hashed out. Let's talk it through.
Well, good. No, listen, I love Jen. I love the friendship you guys have. And listen, I don't think it's nothing that can't be resolved. One thing that just cannot be resolved is Shannon and Tamara. And once again, our episode was mentioned without mentioning Reality with the King. So Andy did say, you know, Alexis was on a podcast. Hi, Bravo. Reality with the King. Where Alexis and Carlos King both said where you and I both feel like Tamara is being iced out on the show. And listen, I want my raindrops to really watch this episode, this reunion. Shannon, who was sitting at the end, which, by the way, let's be clear, Shannon did not like being at the end. Shannon hated seeing Tamara the front seat. That's why Shannon kept interrupting Tamara and wanting to get an edge in. And that's why Tamara was frustrated. Like, I'm not even talking to you. Shut up. Like, leave me alone, because that was the case. I stand on business. I do feel like these girls are icing out Tamara. It was evident this reunion. Did you feel the same way watching it too, Alexis?
1,000,000%. And the way that you know is by their eye rolls and their eye looks every time Tamara would talk. And then the other way that it's very clear was when Gretchen walked out, how much they kissed Gretchen, who is
oh my gosh,
full of shit all the time and does dress like a freaking costume Halloween person every day of her life. And they're all like, oh, we like it. You know, they make fun of her behind her back, but they're like, oh, we love it. We love it. We actually think
let's see those text messages.
Heather's little dig. She actually goes, it's amusing. I actually like how you dress. It's like no woman wants to go where it's amusing or whatever the word was. I'm like, oh my God, Heather always has a back end way of like kind of like saying something, but it's actually kind of a little dig, but she doesn't even mean it that way. But it just comes. It's like, oh my God. Okay.
No, I thought it was crazy.
Entertaining, Carlos. Entertaining.
Yes, she said she felt that it was entertaining. I'm like, what are you even talking about here? And it was so obvious because they need Vaseline with how much they use their lips to kiss Gretchen's ass. It was so obvious. And it was such, to me,
they want Gretchen in and Tamara out is what's happening. And that's what they're trying to do. But here's the best part of this, Carlos. You never know what the hell Bravo is going to do. I quit season 7. Quit the show. No housewife quits a show. I actually literally quit. This is the honest to God truth. I have emails and texts to prove it. They then called me back and begged me back for season 8. Begged me. Like it was a lot. And I kept saying no. Okay. So you don't know what Bravo, and then they fired me season 8. At the end of season 8, then they fired me. So quit season 7. They begged me back, fired me season 8. You after all that work they had to go through to get me back on season 8, it's like you never know what's going on in their mind. You don't know. And they're the best at this because look at how it's 20th season coming up. Yeah. They know what they're doing. So it doesn't matter what the women on the cast think they're going to do. I'm sorry if you think you iced Katie out and she's gone baby cakes. I don't think so. You should have seen the love she was getting last night at that event. You should see there is something about, they do not like the fans don't like what happened to Katie. So you don't know. She could very well be back. And girls, if you want to film and you want to be on the show, you better buckle up and film with her and not try to ice her out. Same thing with Tamara. I'm sorry. She's not the longest standing housewife for no reason, Carlos. She's the only one that carries the show, but the girls don't like that she keeps truth and facts in her brain. They want things to be overlooked and they want the show to go a little bit more like, not so like, okay, well, if you're going to call me out about this, I'm going to tell the truth about that too. Like they want more of like a vanilla show or something, but that's not what's going to get ratings now.
No, listen, Tamara's necessary from the show, but it just dawned on me. You and Katie saw each other last night. How was that?
I mean, we've already been texting because when I got invited to the event, Tamara obviously invited me. I'm one of her closest friends. And so I texted Katie and I just said, I don't have it memorized, obviously, but I said something like, hey, just wanted you to know, I'm excited. Tamara invited me to your event. I'm going to come and I want to support you too. And I'm excited to support you, something like that. And then she texted back, and said whatever, because here's the honest truth. I think in her mind, this is another point I wanted to make. Oh, good. This is good. I didn't even know this would come up, but this is where it's going to come up. Raindrops. Tune in on this one. Okay. Turn those ears on. Okay. So last night at the reunion, it was like when Katie said, I did not play it for Alexis. I would love her to say what Shannon said then. And then Andy goes, well, let's play it. Well, I'm going to tell you what Shannon said because I did hear the memo, the voice memo. And I'm not crazy. And I'm not, I mean, and by the way, it's been a year and a half now that I heard it, but it was, what I do remember is I know who she was talking to. How would I know that if I didn't hear it? Second of all, Shannon was screaming, Alexis Bellino is here. She's here. This is not good for my mental health. And I don't know why we have to be here at the same time. And I mean, and she was literally ballistic about me being there. And I'm 4 rooms down and I never had to see the witch. Never had to see her. I was in my own room. They brought me out. I got done and I got taken away in my car. Never had to see her. She just couldn't stand the fact that I was there. So first of all, you don't yell at production. Second of all, or not production. I'm sorry. This was somebody else, even like a bigwig. Okay. You don't yell at them, but then you don't, I mean, it's like, who cares if we have to go and take a picture on set? We're on the same TV show. You could have said no to the TV show, knowing they were bringing me in. You have every right to quit at any point you want to. You can get out of your contract. So yeah, so I did hear there was so much more. And
but who played it for you? Who played?
Katie played me the voice memo at a restaurant across the street from my house, and the women next to us were sitting to my left were 2 brunettes and another blonde. This is how much I remember the day, Carlos. And Jen was at that lunch. And I know Jen said, I went up and got to the bathroom. I can't remember if I ever made eye contact with Jen or talked to her when I was hearing the voice memo. I just remember looking left to my left. And I was like, Katie, like those women are like, we got to turn it down a little bit. Cause I didn't want our dirt of the show to be listened to by other patrons at the restaurant. So yeah, I mean, so Katie, I think really doesn't remember letting me hear it, but she did. So I'm willing to move on past that and let her think in her mind, I didn't hear it. But the whole bottom line is, Carlos, she recorded it. So that should be the end of it. Who cares? Like the minutia of if she
That's true.
Let me hear it or not. It's like, that's such minutia, but it's the truth. And I'm not gonna go to my grave saying, oh yeah, I was wrong when I'm not wrong. I heard the whole thing.
Yeah. No, I actually agree with you. Listen, at the end of the day, I was happy to see Katie Beer. She looked gorgeous. And
we've moved on. To answer your question, we've moved on. I adore her. Matt and I and John had a long talk while she was busy doing some other things last night. I adore them and I care about them also. And I'm easily willing to squash beef and talk in a mature setting and work past things because, you know, that's what you have to do in life. We got to work past certain situations. Yeah. As long as you don't cheat on my husband or have an affair with my husband, or hurt one of my kids, I can pretty much squash the beef without anything else.
Well, maybe some of the OC housewives need to take a page from your book because Tamara Grudge, as Shannon called her, which by the way, is hilarious, but let's be clear. A fan said that and Shannon picked it up. Again, it is what it is. But what I thought was so interesting is the fact that Tamara said, well, Shannon, you recorded Vicki. And my mouth dropped. I'm like, wait, what is happening right now? Because again, I watched the show and I watched all 19 seasons. And I'm like, when did Shannon record Vicki? And Shannon looked like she saw a ghost. And she's like, well, she was dealing something with her husband.
You're gonna make someone mad. You're gonna make someone mad. Okay, Carlos, when has Shannon ever cared who she makes mad? She's trying to dictate people's friendships and not worried about it. How is she ever gonna care about if Tamara made Vicki mad for that? But it is true. And I want to say this, and I'm gonna leave it very simple for the listeners to take for themselves. Remember that I'm married to John, okay? It is true about the recording, and it is true what Tamara said about Shannon was talking smack on Vicki. So yeah, that's all true. And again, I have receipts, and I'm not going to go there because then it's like, oh my God, Alexis, but it's the truth. And I'm sorry. I got to be truth teller. I can't. I should have been like this, and I have no other way but just to be a truth teller.
Wait,
I would never say these things, Carlos, unless if I got put in front of a judge and was getting ready to go to jail for saying this, I would be able to say, here it is, judge. So yeah.
Wait a second. Or Elijah take the test examiner that signed the release. But wait a second, sister. This is tea because
I'm gonna keep it very let the listeners
Yes. No. I just have to say this. I'm only speechless. Okay. Because I'm gagging. All right, look. And I took my glasses off so I can see. Look. I thought, based on watching the show, that Shannon said she recorded something going on with Vicki and her husband, but that she deleted it afterwards. But you're saying Shannon was caught on a recording talking shit about Vicki?
I'm just saying that what Tamara said is true. I will leave it at that, and I have the receipts for it. So yeah, I'll leave it.
You have the receipts, but how do you have the receipts, Alexis Jansen?
Because he's my husband.
You have possession of the audio?
No, I don't have possession of the audio. I have proof of other words exchanged, and that Tamara is right. It was being called out that it was Vicki was the culprit and the bad one. Just saying that. Okay, we need to move on, or I'm going to get in trouble. And everyone's going to hate me and think I'm a psycho when I'm not. All I am is wanting to get to the bottom of the truth here. And so do I do my Dateline NBC research as a detective? Yes, I do, because that is what I do. I should belong on Dateline because I would find the murderer. I promise you, I would get to the bottom of it.
I love you so fucking
I've had
much.
a whole copy, so I'm a little.
I just love you. I just love you. What I love about you is the fact that you always keep it real. And look, when the conversation was going on with Katie and Gina, I thought Gina did a great job at taking accountability and apologizing to Katie in regards to.
Go ahead. Remind me though.
Yeah. No. Oh, yeah. So when Katie told Kiki Monique that she felt there was some racial undertones in regards to Gina asking about wearing Asian designers, I thought Gina did a fabulous job addressing it, taking accountability and apologizing. I thought it. I wish it would have happened on the show, and I wish these sort of conversations of accountability and apologizing that fast would happen, because we saw how Katie accepted it immediately and moved on. So listen, I know the world gives Gina shit, but I will say I thought Gina did a fabulous job explaining herself, not making excuses, and being accountable. I thought it was fabulous. So I want to make sure that that was mentioned.
I agree. Yeah. I'm not really super passionate about any part of that, other than the fact that, like, I think more women should have said, when Andy said after that part where Gina said her piece, when Andy said, does anyone else want to apologize to Katie? I feel like a lot of those women owed Katie an apology. I'm sorry, even though she's still not recalling that she played the audio for me. I'm willing to move past that. It does not mean that I still don't have empathy and compassion for the fact that the way she was iced out, and those women can say whatever the F they want. She was iced out. Okay. And I think, to be honest, Carlos, it's only been episode 1 of the reunion, but I want to say this. I was impressed and proud of Katie for how she handled her own. I think she grew stronger this season, because when you go to rock bottom, you do get strength through that, going through all those emotions. I think she was calm, cool, collected, spoke her piece, and didn't just sit there like a deer in headlights like she did last season when I was on the reunion. So I want to give her kudos for that and just say, I was very happy to see that she did, but the women did owe her an apology.
Yeah, and I mean, look, Shannon says she apologized for saying that she thought Katie was as evil as Alexis.
I never heard Shannon say I'm sorry one time. She skirted around it. And I maybe I need to go back and rewind it, Carlos, but I never heard it. All I heard was her kind of take accountability in her own sort of non-accountability way and be like, I shouldn't have said that. That's not an I'm sorry.
That's true. No, you're right.
Is I'm sorry, and there's never a but after it. If you're truly sorry, it's just, I am so sorry. Not I'm so sorry, but, or I shouldn't have done that. That's not an apology.
No,
so
I agree with you.
And rewind it, because I don't know. I'm thinking.
No, you're right.
I think so.
No, I'm telling you right now, you're absolutely right. She never said I'm sorry. She said she tried to do what you said. She was like, I shouldn't have said it. I meant it this way. But what was so obvious to me is the fact that you and I spoke about this. You even said, look, as a former housewife, when it comes to these shows, yes, a lot of us are friends, but some of us, or some of them rather, they do have strategy when it comes to the show. Even when they brought up Vicki and Tamara saying that, look, she wants Vicki back. And look, I think anybody breathing should want the OG of the OC back for season 20, which is next season. Whether or not Tamara is using strategy to do it, I think the producers have strategy to bring her back. But I thought it was very fascinating that Emily questioned and even asked, is it strategy or friendship? And I'm like, Emily, you're the wrong person to talk. You kicked out Katie. You yelled at her. You also yelled at Tamara for filming with Katie again. All of this is strategy. So once again, Shannon even saying that, I do believe it. I don't care what anyone says. I do believe that Shannon wants Gretchen to replace Tamara. Whether or not there was a phone call, whatever, because I love you, Jen, but Jen does have the memory of a plant. She doesn't remember anything. And I love Jen. I love Jen. The fact that Jen may not remember, the fact that she said, I went to the bathroom when Katie played the audio for you, Alexis, or I don't remember Gretchen saying that Tamara tried to drug her. Jen, I don't know what you need to take, but you need to take something to get that memory back. Some BCAA.
Yeah, there's a brain, there's a vitamin that's for your brain function.
It's like
we should mail her a pack. Is it vitamin A? That's eyes. It's not vitamin D. That's colds. Like, we need to mail her the brain vitamin, Carlos, a little gift from us. Just here you go, sweetie. We love you.
Yes. As I Google exactly what she needs, because I'm going to give her a free supply of that because my girl needs it, baby.
Especially if you're going to be on this show, and now she's going on to 4th season. Holy crap! You have to remember everything from 4 seasons ago in order to survive on this show. But going back to the strategy thing, Carlos.
But before you go, it's called. Okay. But Alexis, it's called Ginkgo biloba.
Yes, Ginkgo biloba. Yes, Ginkgo biloba. That's how you pronounce it. That is it. I knew there was one.
Yes. So Jen, I'm giving you a free supply of that, girlfriend. But go ahead, Alexis.
Oh, so nice, Carlos. Wait, you're supposed to go like that. So nice. Okay. Back to the strategizing. Okay. First of all, Emily likes to act like she doesn't do everything she calls everyone else out on doing. Because if you ever rewind any of the 6 seasons she's been on, she's done pretty much every single thing that she's always like going, why are you saying I do? Like, I'm just like, I like look at I'm going crazy sometimes. I'm like, oh my gosh, you're sure the kettle, what's it? Tea calling the kettle black, or pot calling the kettle black?
The pot.
You're pot calling the kettle black like every single episode, basically. But I think all these women, and if they say they don't, they're lying. Everyone has some sort of a strategy. It is kind of the game of Survivor to be on a housewives show. I'm just being honest. I've been there, done that. Happy that I did it. It was a great part of my life, but it is the truth. You are kind of playing a little, because you want to be honest, but you don't want to tick everyone off, because you don't want to be Katie on the desert island, which I've been before. You don't want to, like, you have to try to kind of keep the peace, but yet be honest and real and authentic and call the truth out when the truth needs to be told. It's a very sticky, it's a very difficult career, first of all. And I want to give kudos to all the women on every franchise, because not everybody can handle it. Not everybody can do that job. And it is entertainment. So you kind of have to keep it at that level. Like, none of us are performing brain surgery kind of thing. Like, we're literally here to make people laugh and get out, escape their reality and their own world. But I do know that every single woman on that stage has a strategy. And there's no doubt that it was to get Tamara off the show for season 20. There is no doubt. I think they're jealous that she's been on the longest. I think they don't want her on season 20. And I think they don't want someone who has so many facts in her brain, because she's very smart, that will just call it out when it's time for the truth to be told. And that is why Tamara carries the show forward. And, I got on Instagram only for a brief second this morning, and just to check the DMs from last night and see if anyone else sent more photos that you can put on story and stuff, but, and the first thing that popped up was, after the reading, one of the bloggers, I didn't screenshot it. I don't remember what it said, but it was one of the Bravo bloggers. And it said, kudos to Tamara for carrying this season once again. So as much as the women hate her, everyone knows that there's not going to be as good of a show without Tamara there. Period. And if love her or hate her, because there's been years I've hated her, and I could have still said that about her. She at least carries the show. That's why there's a season 20. You can thank her for that. A lot.
I agree. You're back. We're back. Okay. So one thing that we have to get into, Alexis, Gretchen comes out.
Oh gosh, what? What?
Now, it could be Nancy Kerrigan. It could be JonBenet Ramsey. is definitely an outfit just for Gretchen. Before we get to her and Slade, there's so much to unpack here. What did you think of Gretchen's reunion dress?
I think I'm actually gonna plead the fifth on this one, just because it's like I just don't. There's really nothing for me to say. I mean, it speaks quite volumes for itself, doesn't it? I mean, you don't really have to say much. So yeah.
Okay, my vote was Nancy Kerrigan or even Tanya Harding. But listen, that's my opinion. But you look, I thought, in the words of Heather, it was entertaining. But the most entertaining part to me of Gretchen's presence, and we have to get into it before we end the show, we have to get into the shade of Slade. Because baby, that when Andy asked, what does Slade do? Of course, my mind went to Alexis when she told Slade on this podcast to get a job and stay out of women's business. Gretchen said that Slade is a consultant and he's on the Liberace board. What the fuck is that?
That's called, I got to pull something out of my ass for my forever fiance, because I need him to look better than what this show has made him look like. So I've got a really good idea, Slade. Let's find some committee that you can become a part of, and then it sounds really good. And so, they were on their email and everybody about what committee can we put Slade on, No, but you know what? In all honesty, Carlos, here's the thing. I like when Heather stood up for Gretchen a little bit and said, look, whatever your relationship is, it's fine. You don't know anybody answers. Where I get lost in all of it is that it is like they're trying to portray something that's not real. Like, it is just like, no, we're never going to get married. Just admit it. I'm not going to marry him because he has too much debt. He did go to jail in 2009 for not paying child support. So he was considered a deadbeat dad for that at that point of his life. And by the way, it is not Tamara that is saying deadbeat dad that is not getting Slade employed. Okay. I've said that 2 podcasts ago with you. I'm going to keep saying it, because if anyone believes that, there, you know what? I have about $1 million in dish towels that I want to sell you, if you believe that. Okay. I promise you that they're worth $1 million. Okay. But I think that it's like, I do feel if Slade does uses his own money from this Liberace thing, I didn't even know committees pay when you're on a board. I didn't even think you got paid to be on a board. I thought you were giving away your time and trying to make things better. But anyway, so I don't know. But if he's buying his own groceries and that's how they live their life, fine. Be with it, own it. And just be like, no, he's not going to get a job. He's going to live off of me. He is stay-at-home dad. I'm the worker. That would be so much more respectful than if you try to change it or twist it or portray it or say things that don't. That's where the women were getting confused, because they're like, but you proposed to him. So why'd you propose to him if you said you're never going to marry him? Because proposing means you're going to get married at some point. It could be 5 years down the road, could be 16 years down the road. But an engagement means at one point in time, we are going to get married. It's clear they're not. But even if they do, great. Just own the fact that we don't want to get married. If you don't want to get married, we're going to stay engaged for the rest of our life. America would look at it so much better and different and be like, they're owning it. So what? Who's that couple, Goldie Hawn and what's his name?
Kurt Russell. Yeah,
they never got married, and they were together for their whole life and aren't they still together? I mean,
they're still together.
Yeah, 20 or 30 years. But you know what? No one ever questioned them because they didn't get engaged, and they never said yes. Said we'll get married at one point, and never had to defend their relationship because there was no lying or deceit going on. I think the reason the women are questioning, well, but who buys the groceries and when are you getting married, is because it looks like they're trying to portray something that's not. Why would you go say your vows before they said it was an ordained minister, before an ordained minister, if you had no intention of ever filing that to be a marriage? I mean, it does not make sense to me, other than they wanted to maybe they wanted to say those vows and it meant the world to them, but then it's just more called a ceremony. It's like, we just had a ceremony of love. That's what it should be called. Not portraying anything that's false. It's just a ceremony of love. End of story.
Yes. I agree with you. I agree with Heather. Just own it. It's your relationship. Who cares? But it is very interesting. And I thought it was very funny when Andy said, look, I thought you guys did that to get a Bravo wedding special so that we could pay for it.
after last night, right after the whole party that we went to, I jumped up out of bed and was going, oh my God, that was so funny.
Gag.
I literally got up out of bed because I was like, what the heck did Andy just do? I was gobsmacked, baffled. I was like, holy heck, he really just went there. But it's so true.
Yeah, no, I think that's what it is too. And it's funny because you said this, and I agree with you. That's your forever fiance. I don't think they will ever get married. Ever.
No. Otherwise, when they asked her point blank, another thing that makes it look like the level of deceit, like she's trying to deceive what the relationship really is. The other thing they asked her was, someone said, well, when are you going to be ready then? And she's like, I'm ready now. I'll do it now. No, you're not. Because if you were ready now, you'd say we put a date on the books for next June 12th of 2026. It's like, don't deceive, just say we're going to stay engaged. And that's what means the world to us. That's so much more respectful, isn't it? Because look, my last engagement right before Johnny, we didn't have a date on the books. We had no date. And I didn't know a date. And the minute I got engaged to Johnny, we put a date on. But I was never going around town saying, we don't know. I honestly thought if I ever did marry him or we ever did get a date on the books, it would be way down. He had a lot younger kids. I knew it was going to be a long ways away, but I didn't try to deceive people in the community by saying we are going to, I was just very honest with it. We don't know. We're engaged now. We're excited about this. We're living in the relishing in this engagement forever.
Yeah, no.
For years.
Mark my words. The only way Gretchen and Slade are getting married is if she's asked back to be a housewife next season, and that's her storyline. That I promise you. I promise you.
I don't even think then. I think he has too much debt and too much that she doesn't want to take on. I forget. I was filming back when that scene happened that they flashed back to, that Gretchen had said, Heather called Gretchen out back then. That was like 2008 or 9 or 10, one of those seasons that I was on. And Heather called her out and said, yeah, but you don't want to marry him because he's got too much debt and you don't want to carry that on. And Gretchen was honest at that point and owned it and said, yeah, I don't want to take that on. That is so respectful and understandable. I get that. Don't take his debt on. Don't take his, so I don't think even if they got asked as full-time cast, because Slade is basically works for her and does all her job. But if they got asked back next season, as she did as a housewife, to have an orange, I still don't think she would marry him. I don't.
Well, baby, we will wait and see. And part 2 next week, we have the showdown between Gretchen and Tamara. And I do want to say this. Shout out to Emily. Emily, my thoughts and prayers are with your son. As Emily talked about her son possibly having pandas and how, the strep throat with the bacteria affects your brain and the brain swelling. So my thoughts and prayers go out to Emily and Shane's son. So I wanted to make sure that Alexa and I said that, and she agrees too. So Alexa, before I let you go, let the raindrops know you got bombarded last night. You're going to get bombarded next week because you will be at BravoCon.
I am going to be there for 3 of the days. Yes, I'm not going to be at the Bravos, but I'll be staying at, I'll be at a lot of the places that everyone's at. I am working for iHeart to do a couple podcastings and interviewing and the celebs and all of that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm really excited. And then it's Galina's birthday. Let's give a shout out to Galina. I'm wearing her t-shirt in honor of you today, Galina, because it's her birthday while we're there. So it's actually birthday. Yeah, but we're going to do a little birthday celebration there too. So yeah, it's going to be fun. And you're not coming, Carlos.
I know. But I will be able to get you back next week to hear all about it.
Yes, on
because
Friday.
I know.
No, I'll be in the thick of BravoCon Friday morning from my hotel room when you and I are recapping the reunion. I may look a little bit more tired than this. I'll probably have glasses on and be barely woken up and be like, but we are going to, because I'm working all day Thursday and then I have to work all day Friday too. I actually might be in hair and makeup when we have to do that. Oh my gosh, we got to figure that schedule out.
I'm like, even better, but we'll figure it out. We'll get Spencer on it. But congratulations, I'm proud of you. So raindrops next week. Alexis will be back recapping part 2 of the reunion and giving us some tea about BravoCon shenanigans that Who knows? Maybe we'll be a
Wouldn't
storyline next season. So, Alexis, Jansen, I love you. Have a great weekend, my love. Tell John I said hi, and I'll see you next Friday.
Bye, raindrops. Mwah, mwah.
Bye, boo.
Bye.